So good morning. This is the third event sponsored by Our Savior's Global Missions. We're talking about a trip to Tijuana in August. I'd like to have Deb Johnson from Trinity and Kendyll be speaking to you shortly. The last time Our Savior's had a out-of-country mission was in 2011. And my wife and I were just amazed when the students came back, gave their report, and one 16, 17-year-old got up and said, it made a big impression on me. The kids didn't have Nintendo or Game Boys or any of the electronics that we had, but everybody was taken care of. And you can have fun with a soccer ball, a stick, and some cans. So that made a lasting impression on them. We're trying to see if we can re-energize a mission trip. So Kendyll, you want to come up and talk a little bit about what we're planning?
All right, so what we're planning is an intergenerational mission trip that would go down there in August. And we'll go from about 8th grade, just because I haven't been there before, up until however. And the goal is to be part of the community and learn and just be able to come back and really be kind of the ambassadors for future trips down there.
Yeah. So you're going to put the PowerPoint up.
All right. Okay. So we are going to start with this video. And then, what did I do? From there, sorry, I am not technologically advanced. From there, we will play. Go forward. We are going to introduce Deb Johnson, who has been to Esperanza multiple times and will give us kind of a better idea of someone that's had boots on the ground of what to look for and what to expect. Because we could read and we can hear, but hearing it first person is a much better way to understand what we're going into, what we're hoping to support kids and adults doing, and how that looks.
Good morning. I'm Deb Johnson. As Kendyll said, I am a member at Trinity Lutheran Church and Schools in Linwood and have been a member there for, I don't even know how many years, but since right after the fire, so long time. I have been serving with and supporting Esperanza since 1998 when I and my husband chaperoned the trip for our high school students that year. We had a very large group. It was prior to the current lovely posada where we will stay being built, but it was fantastic. And it basically, I came home from that experience saying to myself, why are we just doing high school kids trips? I think it's time for us to expand this vision. And we started an adult group. And then from there, we went to doing our intergenerational trips, which is my personal favorite. We at our church are allowing anybody ages 10 and older. All three of my grandchildren and my older grandchildren have been there with me, as have my children. And it has been just a consistent annual love and passion of mine and has become one for our church and a large growing community. Esperanza has been in existence since 1985. Last year we celebrated 40 years, which was a milestone and fantastic. It was all begun by three men who lived in southern San Diego, Southern California, and wanted to do something across the border. So they started talking, they followed the Habitat for Humanity type of building and working process. And then they wanted to take it one step further. They wanted to work with the families, not for the families, but they also wanted to concentrate on building community in the Tijuana area, both inside Tijuana and cross-border. The reason for that being is that so much of the population of Tijuana are people that are coming from somewhere else. They're coming from southern Mexico, central Mexico, other countries, and coming to that border region for the hopes of something better for their families. But they would come knowing no one. So by creating these communities, they created community amongst themselves. So I like to say that Esperanza is a hand up, not a handout. We work alongside those families. We work with their children. We work with the husbands, with the wives when they aren't having to be out of the home working. And we build relationships. I have long time friends that I've made in Mexico, and I feel just blessed by that experience. I don't know what to share with you other than in 1990, it was Esperanza International, US-based, board of directors, the whole thing. In 1990, Fundación de Mexico board of directors was formed. So now there's a board of directors on the Mexico side and a board of directors on the US side that work together basically symbiotically. Our role on the US side is to bring volunteers, to raise the funds, to find the people, to create the experience for those that want to go and have this mission service experience. And on the Mexico side, their role and responsibility is to gather the families. So their staff there has social workers that go out into the communities and talk to the families, explain what Esperanza is, how it works, why it works, and hopefully find those families that are interested in having help with their first real home. Something that isn't built out of garage doors and sheets of metal and whatever they can find. So then there's a third board, which makes it a little difficult to understand, but it's the Posada board. And the Posada was a dream of the founders to have a place for the volunteers to come and gather and stay that felt safe, that felt as close to home as you can have being in Mexico. And it's a wonderful, beautiful, secure location. And it is owned by neither entity. It's not owned by Esperanza International, and it's not owned by Fundación. It is its own thing and can never be sold. If we were ever to dissolve, which will never happen, if I have anything to say about it, if it were ever to dissolve, it would have to be gifted to another nonprofit that could use that facility. So I really love when people ask me questions, because that kind of can then take my conversation where you need it to go for the information that you're wanting to make things clearer or just understand more about what it is we do and how we do it.
So could you maybe talk about the safety if somebody's concerned about, is this safe for me to go and bring my children?
Yes, we have had many times over the years in my time there where there's been safety concerns because something has happened south of the border. I can tell you that I have gone every single year. I have never, ever felt unsafe. We can never guarantee safety, but I can't be guaranteed safety taking the bus into downtown Seattle either. So we like to say that the Fundación staff, the staff that lives there in Tijuana, works in Tijuana and is there every single day, would not allow us to come if there were a true safety concern or they felt that in the communities that we actually work, there was any possibility of anything happening to anyone.
What size group are you looking to take down with our safety?
We at Trinity typically take anywhere from 15 to 25 people. The Posada and the program can accommodate 60. typical day, work day, we'll start with the work day. Typical day would be everybody gets up and has their breakfast, and depending on what your group dynamics are and what you choose, we typically do a small devotion each morning before we head out to the work site. Then at about 8:30 in the morning, it's time to load up the vans, load up the buses, whatever your means of transportation is, and head to the community where you'll be working. The communities that we serve can range anywhere from 20 minutes away from where we stay to 45, 50 minutes away from where we stay. We currently are serving 7 different colonias in the greater Tijuana area. So one of them is as far south as Rosarito, and that's about 40 minutes. And then the furthest away is called Lomas de Valle, and it's a community that is very unique in that the land was actually gifted to Esperanza by the government of Mexico. We now own that land, and we have divided it into lots. And for someone moving into that neighborhood or wanting a home built in that neighborhood, that land is then gifted to that family. So they don't have to own that piece of land before they can become part of the program and start their home building process. So we get to the work site and we do whatever is needed that day. And it can vary from digging a trench that will be the footing area for the foundations. So you're just digging dirt and it's bucketed away to wherever they're going to pile it up until it gets moved somewhere else. Or you can be mixing cement and hauling it bucketfuls at a time to where it's going to be dumped into the foundation. We could be pouring a slab that will be the flooring of the home. We could be building the actual cement blocks that are then the walls of the home. We could be stacking the blocks. Basically, you'll do a piece of the home, but it takes about 4 to 6 weeks for the home to be completed from the beginning of digging the trench to the pouring of the cement roof. So any and all of those tasks are possible. And then you come back. Oh, lunch is provided at the community, by the community, which is lovely. And then we come back to the posada, you get cleaned up. If you have an extracurricular activity planned for that day, then you would go off and do that. And you have your dinner, you can wander around the neighborhood. It's kind of fun to just, go out in groups and walk and see what's out there. See what the people of La Gloria, which is where we live, how they live. What are they doing on an everyday basis? And that's your day. Yes.
Is the work mostly with hand and hand tools operated?
The only machines that are operated that I've used are the cement mixer. So we will hand bucket the sand and the gravel and the water and the cement into the mixer, and then they dump it out and you scoop it and pass it on bucket by bucket by bucket. We call it the bucket brigade. The other is the cement block maker, and there's always a technician on hand to actually do the cement block making, but then we help by taking the cement blocks and putting them out to dry, because they have to dry for 24 to 48 hours before they can be then stacked and ready for use. And I have used a jackhammer. That's about it.
Are there rules for people that are not super strong?
There are rules for everyone. Our last trip, this last year, we had an 82-year-old woman with us, and basically her job was to cut the wires that were then used to tie rebar together to create the bars that go into the foundation and into the walls. And she literally would cut and bend wires for all those people who were then tying the wires. And she was perfectly happy doing that job. She had a chair in the shade. Then she would chat with the kids in the family. Yeah, it was great. There's always a job for everyone, I say, because there's many of the jobs that are not super physical. You don't have to have brute strength. You're not lifting big, giant 5-gallon buckets of sand or gravel. There's something for everyone.
What does it look like from
We land in San Diego. Typically, we all just meet in the baggage claim area. Those who are going to pick up the rental vans take off and go get the rental vans and bring them back. Load everybody into the vans with all your luggage, leaving space to stop at a Vons, which is basically a Safeway, on the way down, and grab a few of the necessity items that you're not going to find in Mexico. It's just helpful to have some of those things that are harder to find in Mexico, though we like to do as much of our shopping in Mexico as possible to support that community and those different grocery stores that are down there. And then you cross the border. Crossing the border is interesting, and it's changed over the years so many times. There are now 2 checkpoints on the way into Mexico, the first being U.S. Border Patrol, that sometimes there are people there, sometimes there are not, and they just wave you on through. Then you pass through the Mexico Border Patrol, and because we are in big white vans and we're full of all of us people from the U.S., they are going to wave you over, and you pull into a little slot, and they come to the driver and say, "Why are you here? What are you here to do?" They open the back door, look around, they close the back door, and they wave you through. Never have we been stopped for or searched or questioned in any way, shape, or form. You don't need a passport to enter, though you need one to return. So you'll have it with you. Not anymore. Yes. Yeah. That has also changed over the years by a lot. And I can tell you that the shortest border crossing coming back into the US I've ever had was 1 hour. And the longest I've ever had was 3.5. So it just depends on how quickly the lines are moving. Again, we've only been waved over one time, and the Border Patrol just opened the doors, asked us where we're going, where are we coming from, why were we there, how long were we there, and then they just wave you on through. Ask you if you have anything to declare. Some of the adults like to bring home tequila.
What fundraising, how do you raise funds to finance it?
We have done everything over the years, from garage rummage sales to bake sales to car washes to sponsorship letters have been one of the most effective I've found for our fundraising. And basically that's each person who is interested in attending sends out a letter saying to their friends, their family, their co-workers, whoever it might be, this is what I'm wanting to do, this is why, this is who the organization is, and can you help out? And people send money. Sometimes grandma who lives across the country doesn't really know what's happening where the grandkids are, but when they find out, they want to help. So that's really been the best way. We have one of our congregation members who has been to Mexico many times, and she's a plant lady. And every year she plants her nursery full of vegetables and plants and flowers, and then she has a plant sale. And all of the proceeds go to helping someone make their trip happen. We always like to have some funds available to help people out, because we don't want money to be the reason that you don't have the experience. So. That's a question that's asked a lot. One of Esperanza's philosophies is that we don't bring gifts for the family we're working with. If we want to bring things, there are times that we can donate to the local orphanages that are often in need of school supplies or toys and games and books, those kind of things. But we try not to have one group arrive the middle week of August with all of these wonderful things to give to that one family that we happen to be working with. And then that family talks to other families who find out, well, the week that they had somebody come, nobody brought anything. And it gets to be kind of an unfairness between the families that isn't really our place to step in. And so we kind of discourage that. We have done fundraising for a couple of families over the years that they had significant health issues, significant medical costs with their families. And we did kind of a private little fundraiser, but then sent the money through Esperanza to be given by Esperanza de Mexico rather than from us in the US. We would rather it come from the people of Mexico than it's the US giving you this handout, right? So that's kind of how we handle that.
How many people speak Spanish that go down? Need to know a few words?
No Spanish required. I have been practicing and learning Spanish for 20 plus years. I'm still not fluent. I'm really good at shopping and going to a restaurant. But other than that, and your daily greetings. But other than that, I just muddle my way through. The head technician and volunteer coordinator, Eduardo, who lives in Mexico and is on staff there, has very good English. So you will never feel like you're not understanding what's happening. This year, we are fortunate again to have just gotten a long-term volunteer. Long-term volunteer is a person who agrees to stay down there and volunteer for 3, 6 months, or even a year. They live on site at the Posada, and they go with the groups and help with translation, help with just navigating the day of work, and they give their time. So we do have a young man who has just been signed up, and he will start June 1st, and he will be there till the end of August. So he'll be there when we're there. Last year, we actually had our very first retiree long-term volunteer, and she was there 4 months, and it was fantastic. It's the first time that we've ever convinced the people of Mexico that you don't have to be in your 20s to do long-term volunteer, that there are a lot of retired people who have the energy, have the desire, have the passion to go and give their time and give what they have, and it proved to be a wonderful experience. So I see that maybe happening more in the future.
I've heard the word Esperanza a lot, but I've heard it before, but I've never heard it associated with this organization. Does that mean something?
Hope.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It means hope. Yes. Something we did this past year in 2025 for our 40th anniversary was sponsor 3 special circumstance homes. These are 3 families who would maybe not otherwise qualify for the Esperanza program, meaning either they didn't own their own piece of land by one way or another. Sometimes it's gifted to the families. Sometimes they purchased the land. We don't know how they get it, but they own it. So either they don't own their own land, or they don't have the time available because of work and family or health issues in their family to do the work necessary, which typically is a 5-year plan right now. So families sign up, they work for a year building somebody else's home, then their home gets started, and that takes a year in total. And then they continue to work helping build other people's families for the rest of the time. So again, this is not a gift of a home, it's an opportunity of a home for these families. Most of the house is paid for through all of our funds. We do a lot of fundraising, we do the volunteer fees help pay for it, but they also have then a small loan that they pay into their own small banking system, which is community by community. So they're learning how to take care of their own funds as well. Yeah, I think you have Carla's and Maria's, right? Okay, that's great. That's great.
This group is going in August. Are there weather concerns? Hot?
It can be super hot. Every year is a little bit different. Several of the communities we currently work in are high on hills. They're at like the top of hills, and you can actually see the ocean. It's quite beautiful. We would pay a lot of money for that piece of property with that beautiful view. So there's often a nice breeze that comes up. They do provide tents and tarps for the workers so that if you have to be out in the sun. They will help provide shade for you while you're working. We encourage people to take lots of breaks, however many needed, drink lots of water, don't push yourself. What we get done is what we get done in each and every day, and knowing that everybody's doing their best and giving their all. Other questions?
Okay, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
So thanks so much, Deb and Kendyll. Great job. Make this happen. We hope that people will donate, sponsor people that want to go on this adventure. So thank you.
We do have a couple of stories.
You? Okay.
If you would like to read them. Just kind of experiences.
Way down here, you need a reason to move. Feel a fool, running your stateside games. Lose your load, leave your mind behind, baby Jane. Oh, Mexico, you sound so simple, I just got to go. The sun's so hot, I forgot to go home. Guess I'll have to go now. Americana got the sleepy eye, but his body's still shaking like a live wire. Sleepy senorita with their eyes on fire. Oh, Mexico, you sound so sweet with the sun sinking low. The moon's so bright, like to light up the night, make everything alright. Baby's hungry and the money's all gone. The folks back home don't want to talk on the phone. She gets so long letters, sends back a postcard. Times are hard. Oh, down in Mexico, I've never really been, so I don't really know. Oh, Mexico, I guess I'll have to go. Oh, Mexico, I've never really been, but I'd sure like to go. Then whoa, Mexico, I guess I'll have to go now. Talking about in Mexico, and a honky tonk down in Mexico. Mexico, Mexico,
So you can find all these stories. I'm sure the information to sign up for your newsletter is in there. But these are a few that stood out and were sent to us. I am assuming, because I know all of you, that you can read, so I will not read it to you. But just some of the warm things that happened.
Cookies is a staff member in Mexico.
And then one of the big spotlights that I thought stood out, especially, I'm so bad at remembering this is on camera, about Esperanza was inclusion, because that's such a core value here at Our Saviors. Knowing that is something that you value there as well really connects us together. And I thought that was really special when I was looking through their website. And this is one of the special circumstances you talked about.
Mm-hmm. Carla actually had her home built in the Lomas de Valle community that I told you about. So she was gifted her piece of land.
So where's that located?
It's as far away from the Posada as we can go.
I mean, is it east?
It's east. Yeah, east and south.
East and south?
Mm-hmm.
And then ways to get involved. Volunteer. As we've heard, anyone can volunteer. If you would like to volunteer, contact me and we will get you signed up. I had a deadline for the end of this month, but it sounds like it doesn't have to be that urgent, so you've got some time. And then also sponsoring people. Sponsoring people with every little bit goes somewhere. There's a QR code on your table, cash, check, whatever. You can pay a whole thing, you can pay it periodically, whatever that looks like. And then stay connected. So you do galas and fun things like that. So those are the big ways to stay there. And then I had one more question for you if you'd like to pop back up here.
Okay.
Okay. But thank you all for being here. What are the recreational activities?
There are several. So the number one recreational activity that I recommend and encourage every single group, first time, second time, 20th time, it doesn't matter, is to do the border tour. Basically, you're going to go to Friendship Park, which is the border between US and Mexico at the ocean in Tijuana, at the Playas de Tijuana is where it's located. And basically to see what it's like to stand on the side of the border in Mexico and then look through to the park on the US side. The park on the Tijuana side is vibrant, it's colorful, it's full of art. Some of it is art that is there because they're, protesting, which is fine. But it's amazing, the vibrancy and the people and the activity that goes on in that park. You look at the first time I looked across the border and through the border to the US side, it was desolate. There was not a human. It hadn't been taken care of, but they were watering it. I'm not sure why. They were watering the weeds. It's a very surreal kind of experience to stand there, and especially if you've never been to a border region or at the border of our country, even somewhere else. And after the border tour, usually the day after or the following day, then Eduardo, our volunteer coordinator that's on staff in Mexico, will share his perception and his history of the border, and how he will tell you the stories of that when he was a kid, he would ride his bike across the border because it was literally a little fence this tall. And he could ride back and forth with his friends and go and play around in the whole area, and how little by little over his life, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's one of the activities I really encourage. And another activity is to visit an orphanage. There is an orphanage that's for all girls that is visited by many groups. There's a local orphanage that is just maybe half a mile from the Posada where we stay that also will allow visitation sometimes. So it just depends on whether they're allowing visitors to come at that time. It's interesting to see how they function there. Orphanages there are very different than anything we have in the US. We visited there several times in the early years. There's also Casa del Migrante. Casa del Migrante is it's a house, but it's not a house. It's like this small motel type building that's all centered around a courtyard. It is set up to help those that are deported from the US to get their feet back underneath them, to help them find a job, to help them find housing, to help them help them. They have a limited amount of time that they can be there. And during the time that they're there, they're expected to go out and search for work and try to get work. So it's just a way, and they're fed their meals there and they can sleep there for that amount of time. But it's only for deportees. So it's really interesting to hear the story from the director of Casa del Migrante, and then to also talk to some of the residents. And it's amazing the reasons people are deported, how often they've been deported, do they still want to cross back into the US and why? But to actually just talk to those people and hear their stories is just, it's beyond. It's really, really touching. You can visit Rosarito. You can visit Puerto Nuevo, We typically do that on our Sunday, which is our one day off, which is prior to our work week starting. We arrive at Posada on Saturday. On Sunday, we take a day, you go to Mass. If anybody is interested in going to Mass, there are 2 Catholic churches that welcome all of us Lutherans. They even let us have communion. I've even processed the elements at the church. Like, they're very, very progressive and very open. And then we head out to just a day to go and be embraced by the culture of Mexico and see how the families of the area spend their Sunday. How they bring their umbrellas and their beach chairs and their barbecues and fill the beach with music and smells of barbecue, whatever they're cooking, and it's fantastic to just be there amongst them. So that's kind of how we do our Sunday. So those are the ones that pop into my mind for the best outings, for something else to do. There's also the Tijuana Cultural Center in downtown, and that is, if you've never been to a cultural center in Mexico, no matter the region, it's pretty amazing to learn more about the history and how did Tijuana start and where did it come from and who started it and what was there in the 50s and 60s and compared to what's there now. But it's really an ever-changing city, a lot ever-changing. So we just don't go downtown at night. It's not, I don't go to Seattle at night, but we don't go downtown at night. We just go out in the daytime and spend our time, doing cultural sightseeing during the day. So, anything else? Okay. You're welcome.
Way down here, you need a reason to move. Feel a fool, running your stateside games. Lose your load, leave your mind behind, baby Jane. Oh, Mexico, you sound so simple, I just got to go. The sun's so hot, I forgot to go home. Guess I'll have to go now. Americana got the sleepy eye, but his body's still shaking like a live wire. Sleepy senorita with their eyes on fire. Oh, Mexico, you sound so sweet with the sun sinking low. The moon's so bright, like to light up the night, make everything alright. Baby's hungry and the money's all gone. The folks back home don't want to talk on the phone. She gets so long letters, sends back a postcard. Times are hard. Oh, down in Mexico, I've never really been, so I don't really know. Oh, Mexico, I guess I'll have to go. Oh, Mexico, I've never really been, but I sure like to go. Then whoa, Mexico, I guess I'll